Hi, I'm William Byrne. 31 years ago, I wrote, illustrated, and self-published a 24-page black and white comic book called Max Burger P.I. Max Burger P.I. is about a mutant hamburger private investigator, born from a microwave explosion 17 years ago, who solves crimes and battles his brother the Mad Burger, part cyborg, part hamburger, and who lives in the sewers and plots to take over the world and reshape it to his dark vision. Now I'm planning to re-release Max Burger P.I. number 1 in a longer 48-page story with all new art. I hope you will back my Indiegogo campaign. Thank you. Hey, welcome. Yeah, we're going to talk about Canadian comic books today. If you got any comments about which ones you want to talk about, I did grab my Nelvana of the Northern Lights reprint. I think this is almost 10 years old. This is the back in the wartime. If you're an American watching this, back in the war, comic books weren't essential items, so they stopped exporting them over the border. And so there was a couple publishing houses that started publishing their own comic books. And they were named Canadian Whites because all they were done was printed in black and white. This is some of the artwork from, this is the 1940s. And Amanda is kind of like a Wonder Woman kind of thing. And she predates Wonder Woman. I did a Kickstarter campaign. I got, let's see if you can see that. Trying to get the light. Got too much, it's too reflective. Comes with that. What did it also come with? Came with a sticker, I think it is. This is. I don't know if you can get this anymore. I know IDW might have printed a copy of it. This is a little illustration by Alex Perkins. Has worked with clients from around the world. Contribution to newspapers and magazines, print ads and promotion, film, television, and theater, and comics, providing unique illustration, storyboard, character design, and conceptual art. Alex's original drawing and paintings are also commissioned by collectors. So this book came out before Wonder Woman did. There was a lot of books that came out a lot before a lot of American comic books. This is a wraparound cover on this too. There's the front and back. Yeah, so this was my first crowdfunding book that I got. Apparently, they went around and they couldn't find a lot of the artwork in that, so they had to find comic books of the character and scan them in from other people's collections, so they could put this book together. Which was I knew there was a friend of mine in Kitchener that had a few books of Nelvana. There's also an animation studio in Toronto named that too. They've done Wildcats. What else have they done? They've done a whole bunch of stuff. But she was supposed to be a goddess or something. I think she was kind of like part human, part goddess. I think Snowbird for Alpha Flight is similar to her. I think John Byrne kind of did that as a tribute to her. It'd be kind of nice if somebody would come out with some new stories of that. Let me see if I can find. So there's some stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so they've done Bravest Warriors, Izmi and Roy, Hotel Transylvania, the series, Max and Ruby, Mysticons, Ranger Rob, Trucktown, and Zulu Zoos. I guess they're for young kids, and then they also do it looks like a bunch of stuff for Hot Wheels and stuff like that. They also did, like I said, Wildcats. Let me share that on my. Yeah, so this is Wildcats. So that was a Jim Lee creation. It only went on for one season. And yeah, the first time I heard about Nelvana, oh, the tongue is not working. Nelvana was through Captain Canuck, issue 3, and he was talking about he was talking about the Canadian Whites, and they had Johnny Canuck and stuff like that. And then there was a book called The Great Canadian Comic Book, which I got at the library. And I think they had a few stories of the character in the book. And so when there was 2 women that put this Kickstarter together to get this back out. Let me see here. There's a Rachel and a Hope. They don't have the last names here, but they did. Yeah, that's them there. The Rachel is the blonde without the flowers on her dress. Or it's Hope, sorry. And Rachel is the one in the middle. Rachel's in the middle. And this is, I guess this is a memory of Deborah Jane Shelley. So yeah. So they put that together. They raised the money through Kickstarter to have this printed, which is a beautiful copy of that it was done. Paper's really nice. So both of them is, one is Hope Nicholson and the other one is Rachel Ritchie. And this was done in 2014. I'm not sure how many pages it is. Must be at least 100 pages. They were probably pretty thick back then. Here's some more artwork from the book. Beautiful. I love the blacks and stuff like that on this book. I haven't read it through completely. I'm just gonna have to get some time to sit down and read my Johnny Canuck and this book. I think I got as far as here, so I got a bookmark in here. Yeah. And she has a brother that she travels with. That turns into I believe, a wolf or something like that. Or he's a husky or something, and he transforms into human form. But it's kind of like a Flash Gordon kind of strip. That's what I get out of it. From the 30s and 40s. Yeah, so has anybody read this book? Here's the cover of it. Let's see if I can get my hand out of the way. Yeah, so have you ever read that book? Nice. Like I said, it's a nice cover, nice paper inside, nice and white. They did a good job in cleaning up the artwork from the scans, because it was original comic books they were getting it from newsprint. I'm sure a lot of them, it's got to be really hard to find copies of that. They even put her on a postage stamp. I was trying to get the postage stamp here. But here's a little bit. Yeah, you can see down here. It says 45 cents. That's the postage stamps they Canada Post did quite a while back. They did it on a whole bunch of Canadian superheroes. They did Captain Canuck. They did Northgard. The first appearance of her was Triumph Adventures Comics #1, August 1941. To 7 Hillborough Studios Triumph Comics numbers 8 to 31. Commercial Signs of Canada Bell Features, March 1942 to 46. And Super Duper Comics Volumes 3, 1947. Powers and abilities. Nirvana can fly and travel at the speed of light on a giant ray of the Aurora Borealis. She can also con about other powers of the Northern Lights, including Kodiak's powerful ray, which can melt metal and disrupt radio communications. As well, she can make herself invisible. Triumph's Comics #2 can alter her physical form. She can become dry ice in Triumph Comics 13, and she can use her magic cloak to transform her brother from light form to human form. He must not be seen by whites while in human forms. She can also communicate telepathically with her brother. She is apparently immortal. Triumph Comics #12. History. Many years ago, as legend has it, Kodiak, the mighty king of the Northern Lights, married Immortal. This so angered the gods that a curse was placed upon Kodiak, forbidding him to be seen again by earthly beings. His spirit may be still seen again in the form of a brilliant light that streaks majestically across the northern skies. His beautiful daughter, Nirvana, inherited her mother's characteristics and often seen by human eyes. Her brother, Tamriel, carries the curse of his father, and so must never be seen by those of the white race. As such, when adventuring with Nirvana, he frequently adopts the form of a Great Dane-like dog. Nirvana is the offspring of Kodiak, the might king of the Northern Lights, and the mortal woman. The union enraged the other gods so much that Kodiak was therefore prohibited from taking a visible form. Instead of being able to appear in spirit as the Northern Lights. However, his children, Navana and her brother Tenuril, were charged by their father to protect the people of the North. Triumph's Comics number 1 to 7 called to the aid of some Inuits. Navana and Tenuril discover that Commander Toroff and his men are destroying local fish and food stocks with time bombs. With the aid of their father, the two demigods put paid to his evil evil plans, but their actions draw the attention of Hitler, who dispatches two agents, Mardith and Karl, to deal with this threat. Triumph Comics 8 to 18, Navana travels to Glacia, a hidden world lurking under the Arctic ice below the pole star. Traveling there, Navana encounters King Rano and his son Prince Tego, and discovers the Galactica is under threat from Voltar and his mammoth men. With Navana's aid, Galatians repel the invaders, but Navana has to hurry back to the Arctic after a Japanese bomb hits the Galician city. Sure enough, the Japanese are in the snowy north, planning to prevent the completion of Elcan Highway. Riding the polar bear, Navana arrives in the nick of time to prevent Elcan war crews from being killed by starved Manchurians, wolves, and the Japanese have unleashed on them. Yeah, so I don't know. There's quite a few other stories here that they go through here. It says here, Navana was Canadian's third superhero and first national superhero, co-created by France Johnson of the Group of Seven. Navana preceded the best-known U.S. superhero, Wonder Woman, by 3 months. She was written by Adrian Dingle, the other co-creator, in all but one of her stories, Triumph 31, with John Hellas Mason, the solo other writer. Dingle also provided the art for the strip. Her early costume worn for her Northern Adventures consisted of a fur-trimmed mini dress with knee-high boots and matching gloves, plus a cape and a headband. Mike Murphy informs me that Navana Animation Studios took their name from the character when setting up their shop in the 70s, and even animated her and several other Canadian superheroes in their maiden effort, a TV special about Canadian comics, broadcast mid to late 70s. John Byrne was inspired to intangibly link Navana to his demi-goddess Snowbird by making Navana, or rather another version thereof, her mother. 6 Navana's adventures were reprinted in Navana of the Northern Lights, Bell featured 1945 in 2014. Comics historian Hope Nicholson collected and reprinted all of Navana tales, additionally through Kickstarter and then sequentially through IDW Comics. So you might be able to find this one through IDW Comics. 6 of Navana's Avengers were reprinted in Navana of the Northern Lights. Oh, sorry, I just reread that. Sorry. Yeah, so, you know, if you want to get copies of this, it is available. It is available through IDW. And yeah, this is like I said, it's a really good book. and it precedes Wonder Woman. I think they said 3 or 4 months before. The art wasn't too bad back then. I do like this one here, the silhouette here of them talking. The only problem is when the war was over and the American comics came in, they couldn't compete because the comic books were printed in black and white. And they couldn't do it in color. The cost of it was too much. So the only thing they could do was in black and white. But there's some stuff here. It's like it's 1940 style, but they do. It's a pretty good story. Have you ever read Nirvana of the Northern Lights? You can probably get one at. You can probably get this at IDW. They did carry that. They did pre-print it because it went through Kickstarter, and I remember buying that about 7 years ago. I backed that. It was 2014, I believe. So that would probably be 6 years. Yeah, 2014. So that would that was 6 years ago. I was visiting Newfoundland when I backed that. Yeah, they do have it in IDW. Don't know if that can be still purchased. Have you ever read the? Have you read it? There is. No, here we'll show this one. So this is from the IDW website. So if you want to go in and order, you might have to look for it. They do have an ISBN number is 978-1-63140-128-2. So you might be able to pick it up through IDW if they still have copies available, So I don't know how much more I can talk about this. There's a lot of science fiction in it. And because I'm Canadian, that's where I'm interested in this book. They didn't do. I think my name is in here in this book. There's different artists that helped out: Andrew Pepoy, Alex Perkins, Francis Manpole. I believe he did The Flash. Jay Bone, Jay Stevens, Jeff Lamar, Kelman helped out. That's the artist on Captain Canuck. Nicholas Byrne, So Good Sam. And I think my name is in here somewhere in this book. So I don't know if it's the first names that are here I am. See, there's my name right there. So I'm one of the contributors in this. Keep dropping things out of this book. But yeah. Yeah, so if you get a chance, go out and pick it up. I know I'm not supposed to be looking down. I should maybe put the book up like this. So, yeah, I think the artwork is pretty good on it. You know, some of the reproductions, I don't know if it's a reproduction or what. You know, a couple of lines look a little not as thick as they should be or something like that, you know. But they even have a color section in the back. So I think they were trying to compete with the Americans when it was coming in. So there was some color. But it couldn't save it. So, you know, everybody wanted their American comic books, their Superman, the Batman, the Wonder Woman. So, you know, probably tomorrow I'll talk about Johnny Canuck. I can talk about some other news here. Let's see what's going on in Bounty in the Comics. There's some stuff here about Jim Lee. The ideal of one long DC fandom event give Jim Lee anxiety. The second DC fandom give event, Explore the Multiverse, taking place less than a month after the first, is behind us. Considering all the continents thrown at viewers in just one day, it is pretty clear why the whole thing was broken down into two parts, with some breathing room in between. The DC chief executive officer and publisher, Jim Lee, edified exactly why in an interview with IGN instead of the star-studded happening second week. He shared that while technical aspects were a challenge, the sheer overwhelming amount of content was a bigger concern. I'll just share it from my own personal experience, sitting down with the schedule. The first day we put it out there, and I had seen a lot of this content already, the vast bulk of it, Jim Lee said, picking what he wanted to watch and budging his time to make him feel anxious. So the event was split into two. I felt very anxious and riddled with anxiety in making the decision of what to watch, given that some of it was linear and would be live streamed, and so you wouldn't miss those elements. He recounted, then trying to squeeze in the other content into a finite period of time, 24 hours. Lee then observed squeezing everything viewers wanted to see into a manageable amount of time would still present an obstacle on 9/12. Even with the splitting of events, the anxiety was also part of the impetus for making Saturday's fandom on demand. So I think it was primary that needed to accommodate the desires of fans to engage as much as continents as we created, and also allow people the freedom to be able to engage with continents of any device, any place, he said. The event was less like a Super Bowl and more customized, more about choosing your own adventure of what you wanted to explore, deep diving into topics that matter the most to you, and really customizing the content that you interact with for that 24-hour period of time to your own taste, he explained. Plans for this took months, beginning in the spring before Comic Con at home and all the other events Lee knew of. He added the green light came from top Warner Media executives from the highest levels, CEO Jason Kilar and Warner Brothers CEO Ann Sanoff and Pam Liford, a presence of WB Consumer Products. Bringing it all together was a 3.5-month process. And if that hasn't been done before, Lee saw that as an advantage because it allowed us to swing for the fences. We weren't hampered or held back by any other previous experience or expectation, he said. We just knew we just wanted to deliver top class, an amazing experience for our fans. It took him back to the days of building Image Comics as a young entrepreneur. He really spoke to my kind of entrepreneurial roots. When I got into this business, because we were creating something that didn't exist, that we didn't build before, said Lee. DC fandom explored the multiverse and was plagued with technical difficulties when the show started. So it began later than 1 p.m. Eastern. Panels were held for DC TV shows as one highlighting Jim Lee and his career. Did you tune into it? Did you enjoy it? Or even better, the second time, express yourself in the opinions below. So did you happen to watch that? It says here, CW axes Supergirl after season 6, following decline. Ooh. Well, the stories weren't really that good. Let me see here. We'll go and share this. So, CW axes Supergirl after 6th season, following a decline of viewerships. The CW will cancel Supergirl following the 6th season. That is expected to debut on the network in 2021. Deadline Nelly's Varela reports that the decision to cancel the show came after producers of the show. Reports of the decision to cancel the show came after producers, the studio, the network, and Bennett came to a decision that it was better to end the show with a longer final season. Endervia also reported the creative team is currently working on storylines for the show's final 20 episodes of season 6. Supergirl actress Melissa Benoist announced the show cancellation on her Instagram, writing to say it has been an honor to portray this iconic character would be a massive understatement. Seeing the incredible impact the show has on young girls around the world has left me humble and speechless. She continued, she had that impact on me too. She taught me strength I didn't know I had, to find hope in the darkness of places, and that was that we were stronger when we're united. What she stands for pushes us all to be better. She has changed my life for the better, and I'm forever grateful. Bennett concluded, I am so excited that we got to plan our conclusion to this amazing journey, and I cannot wait for you to see what we have in store. I promise we're going to make it a hell of a final season. Supergirl was originally broadcast on CBS, averaged 1.68 rating in the 18 to 49 demographics, with an average of 7.68 million viewers per episodes, according to TV series Final. In season 2, the show moved to CW, where it had a 0.73 rating with an average viewership of 2.356 million per episode. The show would see marginal declines for season 3, with a 0.51 rating and an average viewership of 1.835 million per episode. Season 4 continued the show's decline with a 0.35 rating and a 1.207 million per episode. Season 5 saw the show fall off a cliff with a 0.22 rating and only 0.837 million per episode. However, that average viewership was buoyed by the premiere episode, which saw 1.2 million tune in, and the Elseworlds crossover series, which saw 1.668 million to tune in. The final 8 episodes of the season never saw the show's viewership go over 700,000. While season 6 will be the last season for Supergirl, it doesn't necessarily mean the character will no longer appear in the CW's connected Arrowverse universe. The CW picked up Constantine and incorporated him into the Arrowverse in both Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow after the character show on NBC was canceled after its first season. The CW is also spinning off a Superman and Lois show from Supergirl that will star Supergirl's Tyler Hoechlin as Clark Kent and Elizabeth Tolich as Lois. It is quite possible Supergirl could make an appearance in that show down the line. So what do you make of Supergirl's cancellation at the following of season 6? Are you surprised the show is canceled? Now, for me, I kind of looked at it and said that the show wasn't doing that good. So, it's time for that to go. They were doing a lot of bad storytelling. I really liked the first season. I did like Melissa. I thought she was kind of cute. She was a good actress. Characters in it but the story just got down with too much politics. So I really lost interest in that show. Kind of like Arrow. So people, I'm going to get going. I'm starting to get a little bit tired. Been a long day. So I'll be on tomorrow. If you see this on YouTube, leave a comment in here. Like the channel. It does help out with me. If you have any suggestions on what kind of books you want to talk about, just let me know and we can talk about it. All right. Everybody have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.